Empire. I have never seen Star Wars. Wait, before you click off, let me explain. So my parents don't really like the sci-fi genre as a whole, so when I was younger, I never was really pressed to watch it from them. Then as I got older, I had no desire really to watch it, and I thought, you know, it would die down, because there's not been a Star Wars film out in a while, and then Disney bought Star Wars, and then Force Awakens came out, and Rogue One, and Star Wars in general is just not going anywhere, so I think I have to watch it. From a pop culture point of view, from a person who's read a lot about Carrie Fisher in my life, and has grown to love her, and also the person who studies actual media, I feel like I should probably watch Star Wars. For my education more than anything. So, little disclaimer, I'm not going to watch the prequels because I've heard they're absolutely terrible, so I'm just going to skip over them, and if I like Star Wars, I'll go back to them. Now, being an avid internet user, I have accumulated a bit of Star Wars knowledge over the years, and I've also seen the Family Guy versions of Star Wars, which actually made me more confused about the whole plot of Star Wars. So in Star Wars, I know there's Leia, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, you have the Stormtroopers, and then in Force Awakens, there's emo Kylo Ren, there's Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, there's Poe, there's BB-8, and there's also porgs now, which I think are food, but I love them already, and I want to cuddle one. My general sort of idea of what happens in Star Wars is that Leia's planet gets blown up by Darth Vader, then he and the Stormtroopers kidnap her, and then Luke and Han go to save her from Darth Vader, wearing Stormtrooper costumes, and the whole "you're a little small to be a Stormtrooper" line comes in, and then actually she just rescues herself, goes down a trash chute, and then from there on she's pretty much in charge because these other two are hopeless. C-3PO's also there, doing summer. Darth Vader's a little goth, and the Death Star gets blown up at one point. Also, Luke and Leia kiss, and then find out they're actually related, and that Darth Vader's their actual dad, and then he tries to bring Luke over to the dark side, and then Luke's sort of like, no, oh my god, and like kills Darth Vader. I think he loses his hand in the process, and then skip to Force Awakens. Han Solo dies in that. There's Daisy Ridley in that, who's a Jedi. She learns how to use the Force. Not really sure what the Force is, but from what I gather, being a Jedi is some sort of religion / cult. Who knows if any of that is right, and if it is, will it ruin my experience of Star Wars? So it is 1:30 a.m, 23rd December, and I am about to start my Star Wars marathon. Wish me luck. So it is 4 a.m. and I've just finished watching A New Hope, and I'm pleased to say, just for like my safety in society, that I actually did like it. Woohoo! I'm actually more intrigued about the making of Star Wars. The media student part of me is really coming out now. My favourite part of it, of course, was Leia. She was just so great. I needed more of her. Also, I really like R2-D2. This is probably really stereotypical to be like, well, I like Leia. I like R2-D2. I really like Luke. I think Luke's adorable and I want to protect him. And it's actually really distracting how much he looks and sounds like Sebastian Stan. I've seen the memes, you know. I understand the resemblance, but I've never spent this much time in my life looking at Mark Hamill's face. The weird thing about this film was that it felt oddly familiar to me. Some of the scenes were completely different from what I expected, but then some of them were just so familiar. It's like I'd seen them before, and I probably have, because, you know, they're everywhere. I've probably seen like adapted versions, which like gifs of them, but there was like starts of certain scenes I could tell you before they played what exactly was coming next, and pretty much what I predicted is exactly what happened. I say predicted, it's pretty much what I've like gathered from the internet and just people talking about Star Wars around me for like my entire life. Although all of my knowledge from Star Wars seems to be from A New Hope or Force Awakens, so I'm not exactly sure what happens next apart from the Luke and Leia incident. But like I said, it's 4 a.m, so I'm gonna have a quick nap and then we'll get back to the Star Wars marathon. I'm about to watch Empire Strikes Back, and I'm pretty sure this is the film where the Empire strikes back. The film was just finished, and I understand why people say it's the best one. It's definitely better than the first one, although I am starting to realise that because I do know the big plot points of the whole franchise, and because I am familiar with some of the scenes that I'm not as connected with these films as I could be, but I am liking them and I do appreciate them. I will say in Empire Strikes Back though, there's so many transitions. What is the need? I know it's the 80s, but chill out, please. I'm not sure how I feel about the Han and Leia romance. I like it and I ship it, but I just feel like it happens at random moments in film. And also, Han, when Leia says she loves you, she doesn't want the response, I know. I want it to be known that C-3PO is a little bitch, but I relate to him on an emotional level. I too would see Darth Vader and stormtroopers and think, let's get the frick out of here. Run, run. So my question is now, the people actually like Yoda? Are we meant to like him? Because I do not. I think he's a little bitch and he's just sort of there to annoy Luke and not tell him things properly. So last night I finished watching Return of the Jedi, and I think out of the three so far it was my most favourite one, just because it seemed to be vaster than the others and it got me like more intrigued from the very beginning. I think as well the reason I like this one more is because we had more Leia and she just got more screen time and just more to do, because one of my main problems so far was the fact that they established that Leia was a strong fighter, that she was more than capable of handling herself, but instead she just sort of stood there while Han or Luke did everything. I have gotten a bit like sad though that I've missed out on like all the hype for like a big period of my life, and that I wish I could have watched some of these films in the cinemas, obviously not in the 70s and 80s because I wasn't alive, but I'm sure they would have like played them The Force Awakens. There's such a big chunk of Star Wars history that I will never fully understand because I'm just now coming to the game. To some people, Star Wars is their entire life, their entire childhood. They would like cut off their hand and their left toe and like give it to Yoda if Yoda asked. I will never fully understand that, which I don't know, a bit sad. Speaking of Yoda, do I like him? No, not really. Luke went to see him, left immediately, came back, and then Yoda fucking died when he asked him a question about his dad. And I just want it to be known that R2-D2 and C-3PO are my absolute favourites. I love them so much, and I really hope that they're in Force Awakens, and my arm really hurts vlogging. Let's watch Force Awakens. Force Awakens was by far my favourite Star Wars film. There was just something about it that the others didn't have. I think it's because it is newer and it was made for more of my generation. It took all the great things that the other Star Wars films had and compiled them all together and then added even more great things to it. And I really like the story with Finn and how it shows a different point of view with the stormtroopers that we never really looked at before, because before stormtroopers were just cannon fodder. I haven't got like much bad to say about Force Awakens, and it solved a thing that was annoying me. It actually found all the women in the galaxy. I was watching the first three, I was like, where are the women? There's Leia, but there's no other women. Where are they all? Did they go extinct? This film did have me crying a lot though, especially when Han died. I knew it was coming, and it still freaking killed me when Chewie was like, oh my god. It's so sad. And also, the other saddest part of me was when we saw R2-D2 and he was powered down since Luke had gone away. That was so sad. I like full on started bawling when I saw R2-D2, and I'm really glad that he's awake again. And I love C-3PO, and he missed his friend R2, and I just... On the subject of droids, I like BB-8, but who doesn't like BB-8, let's be honest. I hear BB-8 has an evil twin in Last Jedi, so I'm excited to go and watch that right now. The Last Jedi broke me. It was just so sad, especially that last scene, that just knowing that this is the last time we are ever gonna see Leia, and that was our goodbye to the character, but also to Carrie. It just was heartbreaking, and there was something poetic to the situation with Luke and Leia's goodbye and him saying that no one's ever really gone. It was really heartwarming, but also made me really emotional seeing Carrie's daughter in the film. And then with spoilers, Luke dying as well, this marks the beginning of the end of the original trilogy. But overall, Last Jedi I thought was an alright film. It wasn't as good as Force Awakens, but I don't think it's terrible. I do think it was probably a bit too long and it was dragging a bit, and there was some scenes that didn't need to be there that were just fan service. I am really liking this like new age of Star Wars. Star Wars is more diverse now and we get new perspectives and there's just different and new characters around. Although I can tell that this film has had the Disney touch. There was some bits where it was trying too hard to be funny. Like all Disney action films have those quips and those haha moments, and a lot of them just didn't land. Start of this video, I mentioned pugs. Still not entirely sure what they are. Some sort of bird, and they are food. But I think I love them still, maybe. I don't think they need to be in the film. They were just sort of there for a cheap joke. But also, let's make some teddy bears out of this. But I am totally going to buy into that, and I'm going to get a pug teddy. I'm sorry. So my official Star Wars rating would go Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, and then A New Hope. And I know I haven't seen the prequels or Rogue One yet. I will do that. But I think for my emotional state, I need a bit of a break from Star Wars, and then in the new year, I will get back to it and maybe do another Star Wars diaries. At the end of this beautiful experiment, I've come out a Star Wars fan, and it was so nice to go and see one of them in cinemas and feel a part of that community of watching it. Thank you for watching, and God bless Carrie Fisher, an actual hero. Goodbye.